What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News, a podcast that talks about comic books, movies, TV shows, and we typically feature a beer of the week. Today's episode, we're going to be talking Containment Breach Volume 4, Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards, with none other than Christian DeMatteo, who has been on the show multiple times before. He is a frequent flyer, coming on back, our good friend here, to talk about their great Kickstarter that's going on right now. So, first things first, however, if you want to support the show, Hops Geek News on any social media platform, on any podcasting platform, that's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Go ahead, drop a review, rate us, share us, whatever it may be, help the podcast grow. And then if you feel so inclined to support the show, head to patreon.com/hopsgeeknews, where we offer exclusive content, early episodes, and we even send a nice welcome package more often than not. So do all that. Find us also on the Nerd Initiative, where we review comic books weekly. It is your home for comic book reviews every single Wednesday on New Comic Book Day. And also you can find me on Turn a Page, which talks about comic books as well through Nerd Initiative. A lot of cool things going on for this. But like I said, we have a great episode today. My beer is called Juice Machine from Treehouse Brewing. It's a really great double IPA, 8.6% by volume. And it's got notes of mango, mandarin orange, and high chews up in that. So it's a wicked good beer. I love it. Lauren, you just got yourself a nice dark pour. What do you got?
I don't even know what it is. My husband just brought it to me. I know it's Angry Chair. And
those are the best beers, surprise beers.
Wrong, and it is chocolate.
Ooh.
It is a heavy beer.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll shoot him a text and see what he just brought me. I have no idea.
And so
I'm going to be a little repetitive. I've drank this on your show before because I'm addicted to it. It's a Long Island, New York brewery.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost. And they've got the great name, Ambition is a Dream. It's a double cream ale with brewed with banana, peanut butter, and lactose.
Ooh.
Its ABV is 6%. So we'll see. The hops are Azaka. Malts are Tarabelge, flake corn, and flaked oats. It is delicious.
That sounds delicious. I love when they add the malts, because most breweries will just put the hops and like the malts. The malts and the yeast don't get the credit they deserve. Just put the yeast too. We need to start giving yeast fun names.
Yeasty boys.
It needs to not be like CT 10456778.
Christian, you're back. We're talking another Containment Breach. Why don't you take us into the world of Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards?
This is a dream, this book. James and I were drinking 40s of OE, going to the other end of beer.
Just bringing, it's like high school flashbacks right now.
Yeah, you want more. His high school memory of going to concerts is drinking that. So whenever we go to a concert, he insists we drink that on the train on the way down. We're going to see Rage Against the Machine. And we were talking about the next Containment Breach and what was it? We had all these different themes we were bandying about. And there on the Metro North heading down to Manhattan, I said, Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards. And that was that. And that was going to be volume 3. But we got so many people that wanted to be in it that we ended up doing 2 volumes at once. This is Containment Breach volume 3. Which ended up being Of Clouds and Ether. And now we're finally getting to volume 4, which is Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards. This was a huge hit. The book came out absolutely stunning. This is one of my favorite stories in the book. Nice. These guys, the Hill brothers, are incredible, their style. So the book came out beautiful. We're getting great responses to it. And we just jumped on the back of that and put out the next one. We're on Kickstarter. We are about 92% funded with about 2 weeks to go. And so we're looking to make that final push and hopefully go over the top. We got some really cool stretch goals. For those of you not familiar with Kickstarter, when you get to your funding goal, you don't get any of the money unless you hit your funding goal. And then once you get it, you do stretch goals, which are, all right, well, if we go this much further, we'll add this to your reward. If we go this much further, we'll add this other item or perk to your reward. So on our previous campaign, our big stretch goal was this incredible challenge coin bottle opener.
Love a challenge coin bottle. As somebody who collects challenge coins and stuff like that, the thing is sweet.
Yeah,
I just love keychain bottle openers. I stick them on everything.
It's always
you never know when you need a bottle opener. Yeah,
exactly right. So we've got some other really cool stuff planned if we for when we get there. But right now we just need that extra push because we got a lot of people out there that are looking forward to getting this book, and it's a weird friggin' book. I'm very proud of that.
I mean,
I'm a big fan of weird fiction.
Yeah, I mean the art. I mean, first of all, on your Kickstarter page, you say "Let's get weird." Like right off the bat, I'm in, and then you got that reptilian elephant,
like my husband's motto,
bat-looking creature going on. And one of the things that you guys do really well is your artwork throughout all of your anthologies. You have a mixed mash of artists. I mean, of course, James, who unfortunately isn't here today, but he does some absolutely insane artwork. And then you guys always bring like a really great collective, just group of writers and artists on with you. And it just works so well between the stories. And I think that gives it its own life and gives it its own flavor too.
I'll tell you, I was so excited by your thoughts on Volume 3 that I've been dying to talk to you about Volume 4. And thank you for checking out that Kickstarter. So that elephant, we all have kids and we all were kids. So you remember the Huffalumps and Woozles and Winnie the Pooh, right?
You're speaking my language right now. I'm a big Pooh Bear person. The Huffalumps and Woozles are very okay.
I love that. So we call our guy the Hellafump because he's a demon. My buddy Tom Lynott, who lettered the story, he calls him the Pack-a-Demon. He is half elephant, half gorilla. Imagine an elephant torso and head on a gorilla undercarriage. Absolutely wild, with some ostrich flair as well. And that's in the story Dragging Aggie, which is about a young man who's an accountant having spurned his mother's wishes for him to follow her into black magic. She was a voodoo priestess, and she was trying to save endangered species by raising them from the dead and combining them with others. And he has been tasked by a Catholic priest and a voodoo priestess to go and kill all these horrendous monstrosities she created. And in order to do that, he has to drag her dead body behind him. And when she starts levitating, that's how he knows he's in her secret bestiary. So it's a weird ass story.
Nice. That's amazing, though. I love it. It's because it's like what an altruistic thing too to try to like bring back these where's the morality there? Who's being more moral? Who's being more ethical?
Yeah,
like who's in the right? That's a lot of fun.
Yep. So that was that one came out great. James decided to do it in what he calls his Chuck Jones style. And it's just whacked out. Actually, the central image for the Kickstarter is from that story of the upside down corpse lady. It's
really cool because I know anytime you and James get together, it's going to be a fun story. But like I said, I mean, just one of my favorite things that you guys do, and even reading Containment Breach Volume 3, is just the collection of voices. And so very hard to do an anthology in comic books, let alone to the degree that you guys, because I feel like you guys just keep raising the bar and raising the bar, raising the bar. So is it harder for you to outdo the previous volumes, or is at this point just like riding a bike? It's natural. If you can't ride a bike, I'm sorry, that was not aimed at anybody out there.
I can ride a bike. Though
you did not offend him.
I have not done enough leg days.
Out there is like, I can't ride a bike, you asshole.
Anyone who can't ride a bike. Now, so it's an interesting question. I try not to compare to the previous ones, but of course I do. The solution is that for every entry in the series, we just take the very best of what we get and we work with our creators. You know, one of the things that one of our goals, our missions is to raise the banners of indie creators everywhere. Well, a lot of them are fairly inexperienced. They're incredibly talented, just raw talent, but they're inexperienced. And there's a lot of mistakes that writers make when they're first starting out. I made every single one of them. I still make
looking
them
at my mistakes. So yeah.
And having a great time with your script, which I apologize, I haven't finished yet, but every time I get a minute, I jump on it.
I haven't had any time. And it's all good. Take your time.
So you got a little something going on. So, but we coach people. Actually, one of the reward tiers, 3 of the reward tiers on this project is to do writing coaching sessions with me. Wow. And I have Tellworthy Creative Writing Services is my other company. I'm a professional writing coach, and I've helped people write their novels finally, novellas, long-form short stories, flash fiction. And I've been doing that with comics as well and helping people because I've done it with plays, I've done it with screenplays. And they're all completely different animals. And I'm a college professor, and I know how to talk about it. And I can't do math worth a damn, but I can talk writing all day. And you can ask James. I really can't do math. Basic numbers confuse the hell out of me.
Math is overrated.
That's true.
I agree. We all have calculators on our phones anyway.
For real.
What do we need it for?
Exactly.
But yes, I work with them all to help make the story as great as possible. And it's afforded us 4 really good and increasingly getting better anthologies. And I'm super proud of that.
It's something too, is it can be very daunting to start, writing for the first time or start undertaking something like this for the first time. So it's really cool that you bring them into this world and being like, no, it's okay. Like we're writing this story too, and I'm going to help you, because that's how people get better. Like nobody just starts doing anything with natural raw talent. It takes practice, and this is a great way to kind of start, because also it doesn't have to be this long drawn out story. It's like, hey, this is your own little in your own world. Just focus on what you're writing here, and then get some experience under your belt.
Yeah, exactly. And so many people have gone on from us to being published in other places because they get that experience. And there's also the fact that you can't get published till you're published. And we're helping them go over that hump.
Very true.
And getting ourselves out there. We've gotten actually a fan of yours reached out to me with a script and I apologize if you're out there. I haven't gotten back to you yet, but I've been reading it and I'm actually digging it a lot. But I thought that was so cool. Someone who watched this show reached out and said, "I saw you. Would you like to see something I'm writing?" And
That's
it's
awesome.
really cool, and I love that excitement.
That's so sick. That's really cool. I had no idea.
That is really cool.
Hey,
yeah.
Why didn't you let us know? Because that would have been great to know.
But I know I've asked you this question before, but I want to ask it again, just for anybody who didn't listen to, because obviously you're a previous guest. So anybody who didn't listen to the last episode you were on with us, this being another volume, you can buy this standalone, enjoy this standalone. You don't need to read the past ones. You should read the past ones, but you don't need to. So I did ask you in the past, so if you had any Easter eggs that connected any of them, and you said there was one upcoming. So is that one that has a slight Easter egg? Is that in this volume?
Volume 3 has a character in it who will be returning most probably in volume 4, if not in volume 5. Okay. And that's the big one. I kind of wrote a minor opus. I'm not talking about talent. I'm talking about length for James to draw for volume 4. We've got Nazi werewolves hunting down a Native American soldier in a small German town at the end of the war. And I got deep into the history and got deep into the so all the Nazis were on a drug called Pervitin. It's methamphetamine, and they were required to take it. That's how they were able to get to France across the Ardennes, because they didn't sleep for 3 days, right? Driving the tanks. And that's one of the reasons that they were able to be such incredible monsters, because, you expect a couple of monsters in the world, but for the soldiers to also be as monstrous, they were drugged out of their minds and psychotic, like Vikings on mushrooms. And so I wrote a story called Pervitin Moon, about Nazi werewolves, because the Nazis actually had a werewolf brigade, and they were trying to convince the Allies as a desperate last measure that they had werewolves that were stalking American soldiers. And there was a special symbol for it that they chalked the house for target. And they were really trying to make the Americans think, and the Allies think, that they literally had actual, not metaphoric, actual werewolves. And James finds this out. He tells me about it, and immediately the wheels start turning. Yeah. So the story that has the repeat character in it got knocked aside, and we're hoping we can get it done in time for 4. But it got knocked aside by this magnum opus of a Nazi werewolf slaughter story. We kill so many Nazis.
This is amazing. Really this sounds, as a history buff,
I think we get on board with that.
Lover, yeah, like this sounds right up my alley, because what's not to love about that? Just off the premise alone, it's, hey, we're killing Nazis. Yeah. We're killing Nazi werewolves at that.
Making Nazis literal monsters.
Let's get
exactly weird. Volume 4. It's James and I. We have Dragging Aggie, where a guy is dragging his dead mother behind him. Let's not investigate my writing psychologically. And then
we'll save that for your therapist.
When I wrote it, it took me like 4 weeks. I'm talking to my therapist, and I went, I'm a cliche. And then James and I also have Perverted Moon with the Nazi werewolves, and that's going to be one of the big stories in the book, like a large story.
Nice. And so this is coming out for Halloween, am I correct? Like this is the Halloween book, right?
That's the goal, is so long as there are no delays. See, this book, volume 3, got delayed because there was the binding machine broke at the printer. No. So as soon as we got it in, I was shipping like a madman. So provided nothing like that happens, timing wise, we should be able to get it out. And wait till you see, we haven't put up any of the pictures from Perverted Moon yet.
I was just looking because I was like, did I miss this? Because I know when I was looking earlier, I was like, I didn't see any Nazi werewolves. I would have seen that like pop out, but you guys have a lot of different art.
Yeah, I wish James was here. James would give you a sneak preview. We decided that not to put that up yet, because that's going to be a big reveal toward the end of the campaign. We're going to do as we get closer, maybe when we fund, actually, we're going to reveal it. His art is a whole new level. What he's done with Perverted Moon. His beasts are incredible and horrifying. His framing and layouts. I've been watching this thing come together. Holy crap. It's James has outdone himself.
I mean,
and then when you look at that beside Dragging Aggie, you're going to be like, this is the same artist.
Well, that's the thing about James too, is he's talent, just so talented. You know, as we've gotten to know you and James is just seeing the crazy things that he's drawn and that he can do, and then just what he can do with your writing. Because I know they have a tendency, as writers, it's like, let's over explain things, let's overdo this, and then sometimes you don't even have to do that. It's just like what they take away from it. I know from firsthand experience that James is just next level. So hearing that he takes it up a notch even is like impressive, and I can't wait to read it.
I can't wait for you to read it. This book is going to be bizarre, wild, creepy. Think EC Comics. Think Tales from the Crypt meets like Love, Death, and Robots. Meets Tales from the Dark Side. Meets Cabinet of Curiosities, and that's sort of where we're at.
There's
I was going to say, for all you kids, Tales from the Crypt was a very popular show back in the day.
I used to watch it all the freaking time.
Yeah,
all the time, man.
Yeah, Twilight Zone. That's all our thing, you know.
You're speaking my language, because that's like all of Cabinet of Curiosities, Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone. Like that's all of my just loves, and what shaped me as a horror fan was especially Tales from the Crypt and the Twilight Zone and things like that. Just that shaped my love of horror, because that's probably one of my favorite genres of all time.
See, I wasn't even into horror as a kid, but Tales from the Crypt was a staple still. Like that was for horror and non-horror alike.
Great corny humor.
Of the Keeper,
yes, and these Twilight Zone-esque stories in the horror world. Oh, amazing!
And it's what is not to love? And so let people know, where can everybody go to back this project if they want to.
Kickstarter. We are on Kickstarter with Volume 4. You go to Kickstarter, you go in the search bar and you type in Containment Breach. If you remember the whole thing, Containment Breach Volume 4. I mean, you can't forget Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards, right? But if you type in Containment Breach, all 3 of our projects will come up. The top one is Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards. It's live now. We are at like 92% and rocking and rolling. This book is going to happen. You're going to want your copy. I'm just holding this in my hands. This Volume 3 felt even different than holding volume 1 and 2 when I got those. It's just gotten exponentially more awesome. Getting to hold this in my hand, and now I look at it and I think, when's your brother coming? When's the bastard coming? Because I'm going to get to have volume 4. And I look through this all the time. And, I can say this with you because I didn't write everything in here. What you said, Matthew, about all these different voices, they're all spectacular. They've done such a great job. And we've got some brand new ones in volume 4 that I can't wait for everyone to meet. The talent in this book is overwhelming.
Well, it helps too when you have, not for nothing, but you're kind of the captain steering the ship. And so just seeing, the talent you guys have. And so I know everybody else is in good hands, and it's exciting. I mean, anytime anybody creates anything, it's really exciting, but seeing the previews and just seeing where you guys have grown in the journey that has gone, it's honestly, if you don't go out and back this comic book, I'd be very surprised, people, because if you're looking for a really good Halloween read, you're trying to get that spooky season, you want to sit on your back porch, the leaves are flowing, maybe not in Orlando, but
say, nope.
Maybe you're on the ride to Halloween Horror Nights to feel something again.
Yeah, I'll read it aloud in the car on the way to Halloween Horror Nights.
This is definitely the vibe
on the 20-minute ride to Halloween Horror Nights.
Hey, you know what? 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back.
Well, I guess it depends on how the Uber driver drives, because we're not driving there.
This sounds good. Now I want to come.
That's for real.
Come on down. We're going September 21st.
All right. This sounds like a lot of fun. If there's no driving involved, I know that it must be good.
Well, because the lines are so long that we're just going to drink in the lines and then, get scared shitless in the houses.
Lauren, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I like your style.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You roll.
That's how you do. You roll. No.
Yes.
Oh man. But for real, if there's one thing you want people to take away from this book, what is it that you hope that they walk away from?
Fun. One of the things I've been writing in my different updates and whatnot is feed your brain fun. Things are tough. And I know we're asking a lot in a bad economy to be selling, a frivolous product, but I don't believe that entertainment is frivolous. I believe that entertainment is an essential. It might not be food and shelter. We look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but your brain needs to be able to escape. It needs that pressure release valve, and we're not interested in politics. We're not personally, of course, we're human beings, but in our art, we're looking to provide just a great time. And that's let's get weird. I forgot I can curse on this show, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. One of my new favorite expressions that the youngins are using, let's fuck around and find out. I love that expression.
My kids, when they have to deal with repercussions, I was like, well, you fucked around and found out, sweetie.
Let's fuck around and find out. Let's get weird. Let's feed your brain fun. Let's do it. And I want people to read this book, and I'm not looking for them to put it down and go, whoa, it's really deep statement about the place of the no, we got enough of that. I want them to be like, holy shit, did that just happen? Did that guy shoot a guy through the head, through another guy's head? Yes, that fucking happened.
And that guy was a werewolf Nazi.
And yes, he was actually in that exact panel, Lauren.
That's awesome. No, reading fiction is good for you. And I think so many people think they want that constant self-improvement. But that is self-improvement, is taking time for yourself and reading fiction. It connects different neurons and stuff. And
you need imagination. Like if you, it helps grow that imagination and those critical thinking. I even feel like, because you start thinking outside the box, you start to just escape from life for a little bit.
But I tell my students, why are you studying fiction? You're in a business college. You're an accounting major. Why? This seems stupid, right? Well, no, because the ultimate adventure into psychology, how many friends do you have? And the example I always give is, you got that one friend who keeps dating the same kind of person. And they never know why everything goes wrong. And you're like, because you keep dating the same kind of person. And it's obvious to you, but they don't see it. Everybody thinks differently. And when you read fiction, you get to find the author's psychology and the characters they created. And it opens your mind to the way other people think. And more than anything, it's fun. If it's good, it's fun and it's wild. And to quote Stephen King, You got to feed the crocodiles in the basement sometimes. That lizard brain of ours that wants to see people get torn apart. Yeah, there's a place for that. There's a place
called
for that.
Florida.
Swamp
in fiction.
puppies.
Oh, in fiction. My bad. No, but I completely agree. And like I tell my kids when they're bored, like that's good for your imagination. Go for it.
It is.
But yeah.
Find a way to entertain
But
yourself.
also, it's like when you watch a movie and there's a good guy and a villain, and it's very black and white. This is the good guy. That's the villain. When you read, you're more empathetic towards the villain because you start to see more where that villain's coming from. So yeah, that feeds into what you were saying, is where you're seeing where other people are coming from. Because I don't get that as much in movies as I do when I read.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's because I'm reading the Thrawn books. Thrawn's a good guy. That's saying it now.
Oh boy.
Well, okay. I haven't read the latest one. Now I got to read it. Roger Ebert used to argue that heroes were boring and villains were fascinating. And
that's fair.
Because the hero's doing good for the sake of doing good. The villain's got a crap ton of other reasons.
Heroes are very predictable, man, at the end of the day. But Christian, we sincerely appreciate you coming on and sharing this. I know it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but we wanted to get this. We want to get this out. We want people to buy this. This is, we don't promote things that we don't believe in. And I can tell you from having read, the works from not only Christian and James, but countless of their other people that they have taken under and brought on for these anthologies, that you're in for a treat. And who doesn't love a good horror anthology series? Like Trick or Treat, for example, is an anthology film. It's one of the most popular ones of all time. So the proof is right
ignored upon release.
Exactly. It's right there. It's very popular.
It really was.
People love horror anthologies, and if you love a horror anthology, then come look. You can pledge however, very, very little. You can pledge for, $1 even. There's a pledge for $5, my mistake. And that's $5. That's a coffee. Maybe you don't get a coffee one day.
No, that's less than a coffee.
That's less than a coffee. At Dunkin' Donuts, it's a coffee. And you don't have to, it's not even that much. Like buy a comic, support some really great artists and some up and coming artists, and take that walk on the wild side. Let's get weird, like they say. And so, Christian, thank you again. It's been a pleasure getting to chat with you. And once I get settled out there in Virginia, we looks like a horror episode is on tap for our Halloween month, and we got a couple extra seats with your name on them.
You're a hell of a lot closer to me in Virginia. I mean, we could take a little road trip.
There are about 10 different breweries and 2 distilleries and a winery all within 15 minutes of my new house. I'm just saying.
I mean, if I've got to drive somewhere and then talk to you two and drink, I could think of much worse ways to spend my time.
And, we got Ubers, and, we don't have to drive. So the invitation's there. You're welcome to come down and chat. Of course.
I love it.
And hang out. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody, go check this out. The link is in the bio of this episode. Check it out. Go support some really great guys. And we'll be back next week for another great episode. Thanks for hanging out. Cheers.
Lauren and Matt, thank you.
Always. Cheers.